WVEC-TV, Plan.
And here we go.
This is Jeff McKay, ABC News.
Hi, I'm Chris Collette, the Digital Special Projects Producer here at 13 News Now. For today's Vault, I've put together a series of stories we've done from over the years at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. 2025 marks the 50th anniversary of the Williamsburg theme park, and since the beginning, we've covered its milestones, events, and many rides and roller coasters. We'll start at the very beginning as anchor John Miller visits Busch Gardens, then called the Old Country, during its opening year of 1975. We'll then skip ahead to see celebrations for the park's 10th and 25th anniversaries. Enjoy this look back at the history of Busch Gardens.
For nearly 50 years, tourists have been coming to the attractions at Colonial Williamsburg and the historic locations of Jamestown and Yorktown. Well, now there's a new kid in town, the Busch Gardens Old Country. Already more than 1 million people have seen the attractions that are located right here.
Hi, young lady. 3 adults, please.
The millionth visitor passed through these gates last month. By Labor Day, the Old Country met its projection for the year of 1.3 million people.
Thank you.
Admission costs adults $6.50 and children $5.50. At an attendance that reaches as high as 20,000 people a day, that adds up to a lot of money.
One adult, $6.50, 7, 8, 9, and that's $10.
Passing through the gates, you enter a magical world, spending a day in the Old Country. There's England, the pageantry, history, and scenes of the mother country. Cobbled streets and old world shops, the flavor of Britain complete with beef eaters, Shakespeare's Globe Theater, and Elizabethan villages. The flavor of Paris is captured with sidewalk cafes, boutiques, and artists. The look of a French village or a busy Paris street. And then the Papa of Germany, a Bavarian village alive with craftsmen and the smell of beer.
Busch Gardens is a combination amusement park from the standpoint it is very entertaining, but more importantly we have tried to pick up the flair and the color and the sights and sounds and smells of European villages.
It cost more than $30 million to build this theme park, capturing the atmosphere of the 3 countries represented here, England, France, and Germany. And in addition to the international flavor, you also get rides, like this one, the Log Flume Ride in Germany. Tourists hop into the log-type cars, ready to whisk them along a river of water and through a whirring sawmill. It's one of the most exciting rides in the gardens, and it's easy to see why.
Care not for these ladies that must be wooed and praised. Give me kind Amaryllis, the wanton country maid. Nature art disdain, her beauty is her own. And when we court and kiss, she cries, forsooth, let go. But when we are where comfort is, she never will say no.
Very good. Have a nice day today, all right? Thank you. Okay. Thanks a lot, Jim.
On your mark, get set, go. The Old Country is 10 years old. Busch Gardens celebrates its 10th with music, balloons, and a giant cake. With all that free dessert, Figaro the pastry chef couldn't give away his creations.
I make it myself, okay? The bread, I make it myself too. Don't touch the donuts, I don't know where your hands have been.
Some people came for the party, others just showed up.
We really honestly didn't know it was opening day or our 10th anniversary. It just happened to be we were here and camping and we came over for the day.
Some guests knew exactly what they were in for on this 11th opening day.
I've had a season pass every year since it opened.
What keeps bringing you back?
Well, I just like the park. I like to see all the people, and I like the rides. Oh, that Loch Ness Monster is great.
This season's first trainload of riders agree with Una. The ice show is new this year. Even if figure skating isn't your thing, the Cool Globe Theater will provide a pleasant break from the summer heat.
Bad weather traditionally kept opening day crowds small, but this year Mother Nature cooperated, putting employees to the test on the first day.
But nothing unusual happened despite the larger than expected crowd. Park officials feel optimistic about this year's attendance. Since it opened in 1975, 20 million visitors. Many of those people eat in nearby restaurants and stay in local hotels. James City County officials like that.
But besides that, it's meant a group of people who are accustomed to doing things in a very good way. They know quality, and the things that they do have helped the entire county to do things, I think, in a very good way.
After 10 years, Edward says Busch Gardens remains a very welcome addition to the neighborhood. David Freeman, 13 News, The Old Country.
It was a big deal May 16, 1975, when Busch Gardens opened. Augie Busch was there, and his father Gussie Busch was there, and Ed McMahon was there, and then Virginia Governor Mills Godwin. Even France, Germany, and England sent dignitaries for the occasion.
No, I wasn't looking for any dignitaries. I was looking to see what this park was all about.
Janet Romanetz was there with her Navy husband and son and became an instant fan.
The park belonged to us, and we had a son of our own, and by the time he was about 8 years old, he could have given tours in the park.
The years came and went, and new rides came and went, and yet Janet's love for the place grew.
Good morning, Busch Gardens Marketing. May I help you?
Eventually, she got a job there, and so did her son, and her husband, too. And today, because that husband is being promoted to the Busch property in Philadelphia, Janet is saying goodbye to a place she's called home for 25 years.
But deep in my heart, you will always be the people I love on this magnificent journey. My life is better because I knew each of you. That's it.
She had to read one of her poems, and she had to give boss Cindy Sarko one last hug.
In the words of Janet Romanetz, it's the people that have made a difference here. People that work here and the people that play here. And here's to 25 more years.
Joe Flanagan, 13 News, Busch Gardens in Williamsburg.
Much has changed at Busch Gardens over the last half century. When it opened in 1975, the Old Country only represented the countries of England, Scotland, France, and Germany. Over the years, it saw multiple expansions. Here, we'll take a look at the arrival of Italy in 1980, Festa Italia in 1987, and lastly, Ireland as the park's sixth country in 2001.
The Old Country in Busch Gardens near Williamsburg opens for weekends April 5th, and while the theme park will be open. We'll all have to be a little patient for the opening of the newest addition to the Old Country, but Mark Kraft says it'll be worth the wait.
It lies just across the Rhine River, and when completed, visitors will walk across a 350-foot-long bridge into an authentic Italian hillside village. Italy is the third major expansion of the Old Country theme park since it opened in 1975, and it's added to a list of other country attractions which include England, Scotland, Germany, and France. Like the other countries, Italy promises to deliver an authentic Italian flavor. Strolling musicians will wander among guests sampling entrees of lasagna and cannelloni as they watch pasta being handmade. There will also be a colonnade with terrace seating. It'll provide the stage for an Italian folk show and the famed flagmen of San Sepolcro. All of the cement block buildings will be covered with a stucco that'll be bleached white by the sun, and red concrete tiles, about 15,000 of them, will serve as the roofs. Italian cypress trees will serve as natural columns, but the dominant feature of the village plaza will be dozens of hand-carved stone columns, some stretching as high as 18 feet above the stage.
The structures are basically Romanesque, between Rome and the Renaissance period. That will be brought out through the real stone columns, the limestone columns, the capitals on the columns, which are some Doric and similar to the Corinthian capitals, and other, let's say, special molded capitals.
Italy will also feature Leonardo da Vinci's Garden of Inventions. There, the orbiter, boat swing, and helicopter rides will be based on da Vinci's early mechanical sketches. All in all, the atmosphere should make the visitor break into a few bars of Santa Lucia.
The only problem in all of this is that a lot of people want to know when the Italy section will be ready. Right now, park officials are pushing for an opening for early summer. In the meantime, they ask you to just be patient. After all, Rome wasn't built in a day. Mark Kraft, 13 News, The Old Country.
The 6 new rides may help the park rebound from a slow start in the rainy month of April. Peninsula tourism is down in general because of an extra long school year following an extra snowy winter. Any increase for Busch Gardens would also help nearby tourist attractions.
We think Festa Italia, with its mix of fun-filled rides for families and thrill rides to challenge the daring, will be an enjoyable and unique experience for visitors of all ages.
There were no takers for Festa Italia's scariest ride, but not by choice. Gladiator's Gauntlet is still being tested by its Swedish builder. In a few days, Busch will check it out by running the ride for 24 hours straight. And a new park train station will make the new section convenient to visitors, some 4,000 of them a day.
Festa Italia is part of Busch Gardens' continuing commitment to expanding and enhancing guest entertainment experiences and the enjoyment of the park. This multi-ride expansion has increased our total ride capacity by nearly 1/3.
Although Festa Italia is newly opened, it's not yet complete. In 1988, Busch Gardens will add a whitewater raft race to the area. Jim McClure, 13 News, Williamsburg.
You guessed it, Ireland will become the new country at the Old Country. Nicola and Marcus here from Dublin hope to join a team of 24 Irish dancers in this new Irish village next season.
I've danced since I was 4. I started when I was 4, so I'm 20 now, 16 years. We do about 4 classes a week, 4 to 5 classes a week, about 3 hours per class, so it's a lot of dancing. And then
Take it from an Irishman who's kissed the Blarney Stone and marveled at the countryside with me Irish mother. This will make us all green with envy.
Beginning in September, this area known as Hastings will be transformed to look like Ireland, ready to be open next spring, 2001. That'll be the 6th country here at Busch Gardens.
They want to make it an authentic Irish village with shows, shops, and storytellers.
Everywhere you go, there will be someone singing an Irish tune, playing an Irish tune, dancing an Irish jig, and hopefully trying to encourage the guests to do the same.
Corkscrew Hill, Abbey's Dome Theater, and Grogan's Grill and Pub are coming. Oh yeah, and the River Dance.
I think with River Dance anyway, the theme, especially in America, there's a great theme of emigration
and I think the Irish music, obviously, but the dance, like when you have a line of 24 dancers, the power, the noise, the feet, the tap.
It'll be St. Patrick's Day every day.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Good atmosphere all year round.
Joe Flanagan, 13 News, Williamsburg.
All right, everybody, this is your first look at Ireland in Busch Gardens. This is actually a village called Killarney, and of course, Ireland opens up tomorrow morning here at Busch Gardens. And one thing you're going to see and hear, authentic Irish music. I've been practicing. I want you to meet some of my friends here. Your name?
Cara.
Cara?
I'm Paddy.
Paddy. And I'm Mick. And he's Mick. And you guys are some of the great Irish musicians here. How excited are you about this opening tomorrow?
I'm really excited. It's going to be brilliant.
You guys have been practicing for a long time, right?
That we have, sir, yeah.
All right, and I heard Mick, I know you strum a mean guitar.
Oh, simply brilliant I am.
So can you guys do a little musical act for us? Something that we'll hear when we come to Busch Gardens, Ireland?
We could.
All right, go for it, guys. Go for it.
Dublin's fair city, where girls are so pretty, I first set me eyes on sweet Molly Malone. She wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, singing cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, singing cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
That is excellent, guys. Thank you very much. All right, now we're going to take you around for a little tour of Ireland. One of the first things you'll see is the historic Castle O'Sullivan. I've got my friend Deborah DeMarco here from Busch Gardens, Ireland, to help me out here. What are we going to see inside that historic theater?
Castle O'Sullivan is actually a show for families with small children. It is a show that talks about a young heir to an Irish castle. He's an American. He goes to Ireland to sell the castle, decides he doesn't want to keep the castle, and then turns out in the course of the auction that happens at the castle that he really wants to stay. Okay. So he keeps it.
So there's a history and a story behind Busch Gardens, Ireland. What about the Abbey Stone Theater right behind us?
The Abbey Stone Theater is incredible. You will see the most beautiful, fast and furious footwork of Irish step dancing that you've ever seen. There's a cast of 23. They're here from Dublin, and they will be dancing some of the very, very famous footwork that you've seen in shows across the country.
All right, and you're going to see some of that as we close this special edition of 13 News Daybreak. We're going to show you that special performance. Speaking of footwork, can we go check out this special bridge that I see down here?
Absolutely, that's the Killarney Crossing.
The footbridge that greets people in Ireland?
This is the Killarney Crossing that leads you into Killarney, Ireland, and guests will be able to go through the castle and enter this very enchanting land.
Enchanting land. I understand you even have the Brittany Bridge.
We do have the Brittany Bridge. It is now the Killarney Crossing Bridge.
Okay.
Sorry, Brittany.
But that is not named for you, Brittany Sutton. I want to make that clear, right?
I can't say that. Brittany's a friend.
Oh, we're going to have more from Busch Gardens. One of the main attractions here at Busch Gardens, Ireland, is a place where you can actually learn how Anheuser-Busch makes its beer. It's called Beer School. Thank you very much, sir. Kids might be watching, so I'm not going to have that. But I want you to meet my friend Carol. Now, Carol, you actually teach this beer school?
That's correct. I'm a beer master. There are 6 of us, and we have a class where we teach you how we brew Budweiser. We talk about all of our natural ingredients.
Like the ones we have here?
Absolutely.
What do we have?
We use water, rice, barley, hops, and yeast to brew Budweiser. All natural ingredients, no preservatives, additives.
So are you giving away Anheuser-Busch secrets here?
No, we're not. There's no way you could duplicate this.
All right, the beer school is for the adults, but this thing is for the kids. This is the Killarney Sound Machine. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How are you there, LaSalle?
I'm fine. Thanks so much for asking. What's your name?
Oh, the Dooley McFleagle's the name.
And what do you do?
Oh, by trade I'm a tinkerer, teller of tales, and more than a little gifted on me magical, musical, and mechanical Killarney Sound Machine.
So you can play some pretty jamming tunes, huh?
Oh, I can tear it up, as you say here in America.
Tear it up, then. Let's hear what you got.
All right, then. Here we go. That? Can I get a round of applause here?
21 authentic Irish dancers will steal the show in the new Abbey Stone Theatre. These kids from Dublin put on a 30-minute Irish step dancing spectacular.
I'm so excited. We were here 3 years ago in the Royal Palace Theatre performing for 3 weeks. So coming here to do it for the whole summer is just fantastic because I love Busch.
The Seamus O'Shea School of Irish Dance had to work out real school schedules for these dancers to come.
We thought we'd have a huge major problem in producing students who would be available in May, and I made a lot of contacts with school principals to get them free here, and it was quite a worry, but we are very proud of the ones that did come, and we have a lot more to come yet.
They've taken Killarney, Ireland, and transformed it into the village of Killarney here in Williamsburg, and even brought in Killarney's mayor today.
It's estimated as 40 million Americans of Irish heritage, so I think the connection between Killarney, Busch Gardens and Killarney Island is going to be of mutual benefit.
Waterford Crystal even sent a world-class carver for this opening.
I think it's really nice. I've always had an interest in Irish stuff, and I have a little bit of Irish blood in me, and so it's like really neat to see all this stuff.
It's a sneak peek today, and folks seem to enjoy it.
Yes, I am. I like the atmosphere. The beer is good, and might come back tomorrow, just for the opening of it.
The Loch Ness Monster, Apollo's Chariot, Verbolten. These are some of Busch Gardens roller coasters that have thrilled park goers for years. But over time, some coasters, including many fan favorites, had to make way for new attractions. The first name that probably comes to mind is the iconic Big Bad Wolf, which ran from 1984 to 2009. To end today's look back at the history of Busch Gardens, we'll revisit the Wolf's opening, as well as some other rides like Drachen Fire and Questor, which only now exist in these videos and in our memories.
Just in case you've been wondering about Busch Gardens' new ride this season, just in case, wonder no more. And this video should give you a clue. It's called the Big Bad Wolf. It's a $6 million suspended roller coaster to be second in size only to the Loch Ness Monster built in 1978. With this ride, Busch officials plan to attract more than 2 million people this year.
Obviously, revenue is directly related to attendance, and we're very hopeful that this will bring a great deal of incremental business to us from northeastern markets, and obviously, of course, from our own local markets of Virginia Beach through Richmond.
The new ride's expected to create about a dozen new jobs.
To Busch Gardens come to life. Today the public was that theme park's attraction, but the big from a track not come to life. In a test run Sunday, the Wolf collided with a pole.
There is a small guide wheel underneath the car which is used to stabilize the car in the station itself. Because the ride was running extremely fast, late yesterday afternoon, we came in contact with one of the columns, the guide wheel did, but it's not an integral part of the unit itself.
Workers told me they were being pushed to finish the ride by the June 25th deadline. So while the Big Bad Wolf sat still, the focus switched to another star.
Mr. Price, could I?
Sure, love.
Oh, bless you, I've been a fan of yours for years and years and years, love, very much.
Actor Vincent Price, the voice of the Big Bad Wolf TV and radio commercials, was to be the first to take a ride on the roller coaster.
But Busch Gardens doesn't let a little thing like a delay stop them, especially when hundreds of media representatives and politicians and important people are invited. The celebration is still on.
While invited guests were treated to a sumptuous Bavarian lunch, Vincent Price was still on call, co-hosting a live television program in Washington and posing for local newspapers.
I've done a few little things like a record with a young fellow named Michael Jackson called Thriller. And I think that kind of identification of something that is a thrilling new ride is sort of gotten stuck on me, and I enjoy it, actually.
Busch Gardens doesn't know when the Wolf will terrorize the 5-acre section of the park. Vincent Price says he'll be there. Catherine Barrett, 13 News, Williamsburg.
For the Big Bad Wolf, second time's a charm. The amusement park invited the news media up on Monday to try out the new ride. Going too fast, so workers installed an extra set of brakes, ran a few tests, and invited the reporters back again today. It worked. And the park's general manager says there's no need to worry.
There's no reason to be concerned at all. That's obviously the reason we didn't open it on Monday. We were not satisfied that it was within the design specifications, and we went back to correct that, and the ride is now ready to go.
But just to make sure it was safe, this reporter went twice. Some of the park's paying customers didn't like having to just stand by and watch.
I think they should have opened it today because the press gets to ride it, so that's just as dangerous as us riding it.
Would have really liked to have ridden it, especially on such a beautiful day, too.
Yeah, I think they should have opened it, to a few people, just at least see how they reacted to it.
Sorry, you'll have to wait until Sunday. David Freeman, 13 News, Busch Gardens.
It took us about 7 hours to get here from Pennsylvania.
7 hours away just to ride the Big Bad Wolf?
Sure, I've been looking forward to it for about 3 months now.
The waiting is almost over for roller coaster ace Derek Shaw and his friends. The word ACE stands for American Coaster Enthusiasts. There are more than 40 of them here today from the group's Mid-Atlantic chapter. They've come to tame the Big Bad Wolf, Busch Gardens' newest coaster ride. But they're also here because
the Wolf here is opening up approximately 100 years and 17 days after the first one opened up in Coney Island.
2 local men got the first chance to ride the Wolf, Norfolk's Richard Heinz and Jeff Robertson of Newport News. They said they had the best seat in the park right up front at the head of the Wolf. The Big Bad Wolf is different from most roller coasters. Instead of riding on top of the tracks like the Loch Ness Monster, the Wolf hangs suspended from an overhead rail. As opposed to the feeling of being out of control, it sways side to side, traveling at speeds up to 48 miles an hour, winding through a Bavarian village to hit whatever is in its path.
You get a lot of lift, swings you from side to side. Very exhilarating final drop, that final into the river out there.
That's 110 feet.
It's super. Okay. It's incredible.
What do you think of the Big Bad Wolf?
That was great. It was a good ride. Good ride.
How does it stack up against other roller coasters?
It's as good as any I've been on.
I think it's the best ride Busch Gardens now has.
Like the members of the Mid-Atlantic coasters, I can only offer a description of what it's like to ride the Big Bad Wolf. The thing is to take the Wolf on yourself. Michael Barnes, 13 News at Busch Gardens.
With much fanfare and a week delay, the Big Bad Wolf made its debut July 1st. Since then, more than 600,000 people have climbed into Wolf cars, pulled down the harness, preparing to travel at the speed of fright. The park director says the ride exceeded his expectations. We found no complaints today.
Fast, fun, quick turns.
I like the part where it looks like you're going to hit the buildings.
When we're way up there and I'm looking down, do I have to go down that thing? Yes, and I did, and I loved it. It was great.
Some people tried but didn't get to ride this summer. Since July 1st, mechanical and electrical problems forced park officials to close the ride 5 full days and caused numerous delays lasting up to several hours.
It's really not unusual at all for a brand new ride, especially one that's still what we consider a prototype. There haven't been many of these rides made. It's not unusual to experience a few hours during a day occasionally, and once in a while a full day or a couple of days in a row to have a problem with a ride like this.
The wheels cause most of the delays. Each train has more than 100, and they wear out much faster than planned. With that information, the park director expects fewer disappointed customers when Busch Gardens reopens next March.
You might think winter's the off-season, but the Wolf cars are in for quite a workout.
Technicians will tear apart each car in mechanical lift and put them back together before January. That's when the park director says dry runs begin. This year, about 1/4 of the visitors rode Big Bad Wolf. Busch officials hope to increase that to about 90% in 1985. That'll give ride operators more chances to say,
"Thank you for riding. Enjoy the rest of your day."
David Freeman, 13 News, Busch Gardens.
It's just more than you can ever imagine.
The general manager at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg is talking about the park's new high-tech simulator attraction. The ride is a 35,000-pound machine that'll take passengers on a fantasy trip through sight, sound, and motion. The captain of the ship is a little guy called Alwyn, who's going in search of the elusive crystal of Zed, taking with him 59 passengers. His ship, the Questor, is capable of doing almost anything, including flying and diving underwater. Passengers will experience the sensation with the help of a movie played on a screen in front of them. When on the ride, you get the feeling that you're going in all sorts of death-defying directions. But actually, the cabin never moves any more than 5 feet in any given direction. The hardest scene for the film director to shoot was the trip over the waterfall that starts off as a nice ride down a stream.
Goes plunging headfirst over a 300-foot-high waterfall, pulls out just before we hit the rocks, and starts flying back around to see the waterfall, and then goes to land under a rock where the crystal of Zed is hidden. And we had to do that in one single shot.
The scene was shot with a new piece of film technology called Moving Cam. It's a miniaturized radio-controlled helicopter with a camera mounted inside. It all adds up to an action-packed adventure that Busch Gardens hopes will boost attendance.
We really believe people are going to find this to be totally different from anything they can experience elsewhere in the Mid-Atlantic region.
A new ride traditionally increases attendance at the park by 4 to 5% during a season, and Busch Gardens is banking that Questor will do that maybe better. Velma Escape 13 News, Williamsburg.
Come through this way, Owen.
This way? All right. Thank you very much.
Come through this way, please.
Alwyn is on a quest which has brought him to Busch Gardens outside Williamsburg. The 800-year-old character is the pilot of a new ride at the theme park, Questor, the search for the Crystal of Zed.
I spent years building this ship called the Questor. I think you may have heard of it. And with it, I can fly through space. I can dive through water.
Along for the maiden voyage, ABC TV star Bob Saget, who grew up in Norfolk.
I love anything that's like a flight simulator, and I love movies a lot. And I understand there's some shots in this thing that are just unbelievable. Like you really feel like you're going down a waterfall, and I'm into that kind of thing. Anything that's new optically, I'm excited.
He shared that enthusiasm with theme park management and a crowd eager to try out the new experience.
We're glad that each of you could join us today for Questor's historic maiden flight. Are you absolutely sure this thing's going to work? You know how to work it.
Down through a long tunnel we went until we reached a kind of movie theater which seats 59. It's like no auditorium you've ever been in, though. It rocks and rolls while your eyes and ears follow harrowing scenes. Unfortunately, on the maiden voyage, a technical glitch closed the flight simulator down.
The ride is so sophisticated, it's so high technology, that if the film got a little bit out of synchronization, it's going to stop us because it wants us to do a complete ride.
It started all over, and most participants called Questor a success.
It's great. I mean, when you're going over the waterfall, you feel everything's totally in sync with everything you're doing, so you really feel like you're... I swear, I didn't even know I was in a movie.
One word of advice, if you have motion sickness like some of us, you might want to ask ahead which seats are the best and the worst in Questor. Kathy Barnsdorf, 13 News, Busch Gardens in James City County. The 4th of July holiday weekend is traditionally kind of a bellwether for tourist attractions to assess how their season is going. Last year about this time, marketing directors and others knew it was not going to be a great summer, and that's how it ended up. But this year, despite the recession, tourism professionals are hopeful.
It's going very well. Yesterday was a very pleasant surprise for us. I got up yesterday morning, looked out the window, it was raining, and was like, oh, not on the 4th of July, please. We did about 90% of our budget yesterday, so it went very, very, very surprisingly well.
So far this summer, Busch Gardens in James City County says it's running about 12% ahead of budget, 20% the last couple of weeks. And park officials say they're seeing a glimmer from the numbers in their attractions across the country. The recession is easing up. Especially as prices escalate, one way that tourist attractions try to keep visitors coming back is by offering them something new and big each year. For Busch Gardens next year, it'll be a new roller coaster ride. The theme park broke ground for the new ride this morning. It'll be located in the Germany section of the Old Country and is expected to offer riders quite a thrill.
These are interlocking corkscrews here where the idea is for 2 trains to go through at the same time.
The as of yet unnamed roller coaster has already attracted plenty of attention. Dozens of members of the American Coaster Enthusiasts turned out for the groundbreaking. A group of 50 die-hard fans held its first meeting here in 1978. Back then, Busch Gardens only had one big thrill ride, the Loch Ness Monster. Then came the Big Bad Wolf, and next year, another steel challenge.
Well, there are several elements on this coaster that are different. First of all, the corkscrew coming off the main lift hill. I've never seen that on any other coaster. The Batwing element, the fact that they're going to have a camelback hump that will keep you almost weightless for nearly 3 seconds is very...
The coaster enthusiast group has grown to 4,400 members in 15 countries. They're dedicated to preserving thrill rides, once 2,000 strong in this nation alone, but now only 210 in operation. Kathy Barnsdorf, 13 News, James City County.
Things we do for 13 News.
It all started with a group of Tabb and Lafayette High School students getting to ride, and what a ride they had.
It was really fast, and it got me kind of dizzy.
Again?
Yeah, I'm gonna go again.
All right, later.
Incredible. It was fast. It was high. It was quick. It was everything. That was just whoa.
Yours truly came prepared for this flight of fantasy, but like the cowardly lion, lacked the courage. 2 members of the American Coaster Enthusiasts, a 4,000-member organization, showed up. They've ridden over 300 roller coasters.
Well, I think the Drachen Fire is an outstanding coaster. It certainly is one of the most intense I've ever been on. All these unusual elements on here, the Batwing, the cutback, it is outstanding.
This is spectacular. This is wild. This is wonderful. We like rides intense, at least I do. Rides that never let you catch your breath. Rides that are full gonzo, push the envelope. Oh my God, what's going to happen to me next?
Suddenly it was my turn, and as we made the long climb up the 160-foot tower, I thought of those immortal words for television. Remember, it's better to look good than to feel good. And I wasn't doing too well on either end right now. Weightlessness, G-force, tops and turns, it's all there. What a ride. Joe Flanagan, 13 News, Busch Gardens.
From the outside, this multi-million-dollar 3-year-long project is taking shape. But it's the inside that will take visitors to the dark side. A short introduction to King Ludwig sets the stage.
That night, Mad Ludwig led his guests on a tour of the castle in his fleet of golden sleighs. No one knows what really happened, but they say the walls echoed with terror.
8 people at a time ride in golden sleighs as giant screens immerse you in a wild world of DarKastledom.
A real-life experience. When you enter our ride, you almost become part of this thing. The building and the show comes alive and actually comes out and touches you. And you really kind of wonder what was real and what really wasn't. How did they really do that?
Big digital projectors create images on big screens with special effects and one pulse-pounding drop.
They create a very still image, super clear, and the whole thing is we're not creating 3D movies. We're actually creating 3D sets that come alive and actually come out and touch you while you're riding the ride.
Yes, King Ludwig does all he can to freak you out as you go from forced perspectives to eye control.
You have to see this ride to completely understand the size and the magnitude of the system here. 40,000 square foot building filled with media and audio for entertainment.
And so this Curse of DarKastle, just down from Oktoberfest in the German section of the park, is set to open in May and should be a good one. Joe Flanagan, 13 News, Busch Gardens.
Consider this your first official look at what's to come. Your behind-the-scenes peek at the future of theme park attractions. A state-of-the-art virtual reality world known as the Battle of Eire. The ride opens this spring, and we're taking a tour through it all.
This thing off board looks like it's alive. It will move, it will dance. We can do so many things with it.
And then creating an immersive experience from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave.
These headsets in this theater is where it all happens. Battle for Eire will have 360 views.
The resolution, the fidelity, the optics.
Graphics and motion that you've never experienced in the virtual world. The storyline, it's rooted in Irish folklore. So imagine flying on a dragon 500 feet in the air.
Your inner ear, you're going to feel motion of a wing moving. And you're going to go, yeah, this will actually pretty much believe that you're there.
They call it the first mass product VR for the marketplace. Way beyond what you can expect from similar technology on your cell phones or video game consoles.
Special software had to be written to be able to drive it.
Way far and beyond what we could experience in a traditional sense.
They'll take you to a different world, but we're going to have to wait. For this state-of-the-art attraction, there's still no official opening date. At Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I'm Philip Townsend, 13 News Now. Back at Busch Gardens Friday, and I'm here at the park's newest attraction, Battle for Eire. About a month ago, I got a walkthrough of the first of its kind virtual reality ride.
So what's this here?
This is the Emerald Mask.
The Emerald Mask?
Yes.
Everyone gets one of these?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How do I look?
You look good.
But today, I'm here to ride it, or should I say experience it, for the first time.
Our time is running out. Come on!
Here in the final queue, I'm getting a little backstory.
So you are about to help Addie save the heart of Eire.
Nice.
Then I'm locking in what they call the enchanted lens and sitting back in the suspended simulator.
Let's do this.
The headsets combined with the simulator is what makes this a first of its kind. And I'm telling you, it's completely immersive.
Wow.
So you can follow me.
Whoa.
This is what I'm seeing, but imagine it with 360-degree views through the VR headset. You can look all around like it's real life.
You really feel like you're there. Oh my gosh. You can feel the wind too. Oh man. I'm riding on a dragon right now.
Now the ride hasn't officially opened yet, but they're almost there. They're just working out the last few kinks. It could be as soon as April.
Awesome experience. There's definitely going to be a line for this one. I say that in the best way possible. Reporting at Busch Gardens, I'm Philip Townsend for 13 News Now.